We're back. Had to take my dude out. My dude. At some point today, I think I'm supposed to get a call from my bank to. Hey, hell am I? Nope, I don't want to turn there. Oh, I guess I probably should pop Discord back up. If we need to change out some of the pickup mods too, we can. We're not getting rid of my Dodge, but giggity. Probably should slow down a little bit. I am in a semi going down a dirt road. You hook up your steering wheel? Ah, okay. Rest of the words in that sentence? So yeah, I sent Trev a novel last night and let him know what was up, and was like, what? Oh. Bang! Yeah, I sent him the novel last night on Discord and let him know what was what and what was going on, and was like, you know, like to have you in here as a admin and farm manager with us. He said he was down, and I made sure to make it very clear that we're doing insane levels of realism. So RO can't turn because the bed's too long. Well, okay, will that pickup hook up to the, no, because that was meant for the TLX. Means what? Oh, I thought you had a lift kit on that one. Yeah. Well, are you looking at that trailer for us to use for all of our stuff? I would have thought Dave had a trailer that hauled everything. He usually does. Standard nerds. So now we're going to go O. This truck has to be running to fill the seeder, right? The semi running the seed tender. Well, that's one of those things we may not be able to get past that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a game limitation that we can't do anything about. No, I have it turned on. There's just no traffic right now. I don't think they're all the way done with this. I think there's still more stuff coming, so. Given the couple of conversations I've seen / heard. I don't know that I like that. Oh well. Apparently you can still use the N button while in the cab on a lot of things to open the cover. But I guess that's okay. That way we've got an option. Geez, DC. Nobody saw that. I backed the fertilizer spreader into the truck, my pickup. Insurance claim. All right, yeah, it looks like the semi truck's gonna have to be on. But we're contracted to the... Ooh! That's a question. That is a really nice fact. That's a question. I don't remember how this works. So if I'm contracted to the co-op and I get in the truck and I fill the seed tender up with the co-op's truck, does the co-op get charged the money? Well, I hopped over into the co-op's farm Well, here, let's do this. For science! Stop the time. Okay. What? That's scary. Alright. So I am in our farm. I'm driving the co-op's truck. Which... Oh my god! So needy! Okay. There. What in the hell do we need that for? Wow, okay. I mean, sure, if you want to do that. Yeah, how you gonna fit a cow in that? Cut it up into pieces and butcher it right there on the spot. I mean, I do. Oh shit! You can't park that here. Okay. During actual real gameplay, when I'm not during the For Science time, we can't do that. For the YouTube viewers. How do you feel about bumping that save up to an hour? Okay. Okay. I'm just asking. Inquiring minds wanted to know. Well, I mean, yeah, no. Like, there's risk factors to all of that. Shit, sometimes having a 15-minute save interval still screws you because you're like, you do a thing and you're like, man, I did a lot of stuff in the last 15 minutes. So this area right here, this is what I was talking about. So you see how the trees are like overhanging and kind of close? If you're driving in this view, it makes it really hard to see. So yeah, like pow, 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 you know. I mean, if I was driving a semi for the co-op, I probably wouldn't care. But if I was the owner of the co-op, I'd be pissed as hell right now. Oh, so another thing, I don't know if you know, I'm going to be telling you and anybody that watches this a lot about this map that I'm learning. There is a barn around here that is, it says, welcome to Truffletopia. And apparently, if you take your pigs out of a pig pen and you take them like in the morning over to that barn, you can drop them off and then they roam around one of the forests all day and they'll dig up and find truffles, and the truffles will spawn in the barn, and then at night before you go to quote bed, you go back out and you pick your pigs back up and you take them home so that they can they can get food, they can get water, they can do whatever they're going to do, they can sleep, rest, whatever. But then you get truffles from it. And I was like, that's pretty wicked. Singing animal hate songs. The camera part on my side on Discord, where I'm sending my video to you, looks backwards, looks reversed. If I look at the outgoing video feed on Discord towards you from my camera, it's reversed. So the steering wheel's on the right hand side. I was like, wait a minute, what? Alright, so here goes the for science. I'm in our farm, but I'm in the co-op's truck. This would be nice if I don't have to switch farms to do this. I get the start filling button. Solid fertilizer. It's not coming out of our money. Oh, that is wonderful. Yes. Okay. You missed a spot. Why? That dude, Surfing Cowboy, it's part of the SGA that gave me the tip yesterday about, hey, remove those mods. He was playing a map yesterday that is, it's called Island Life. It's a Kaz map. But yeah, it looked like you were farming in Hawaii. I was like, that's kind of an interesting looking setup. I can't tell. Is this supposed to be one big road or is this supposed to be 2 lanes? Okay. Yeah, and then it turns into this little bitty ass dirt trail right here. I created a new Google form last night for quote farmhand application unquote. I started working on it, so if you ever go back and look at any of the documents that I'm putting together for this playthrough, it's in that folder if you want to look at what I got in there for questions. I'm not completely done with it yet, but yep. I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know if you can tell. Trying to put some work into some things. Oh, I went the wrong way. Damn it. Oh well. What? No, not yet. I was just working on the questions. Okay, I'll look at it. If you know and want to shit! Wow. That center of gravity is a killer. If you know how to fix it and you want to, you're welcome to. Damn, we gotta get used to this center of gravity stuff, man. I'm also wondering I wonder if the mass of this trailer is like if I've got more in here than what's supposed to be in here. Because for a while I had you know how the trailer fill limiter thing, like if the trailer gets too heavy it'll stop filling the trailer type of thing. I had that turned on for a while, and then I was like, no, that's not realistic because you can definitely overfill a trailer in real life, so I turned it back off. I think before I go back to full-time, big-time, any kind of time streaming, like if we do the, if I can get this set back up or we can do it regularly, I think I'm going to get me an actual video capture card. Okay. So about 10 minutes. Ah! Too damn long. Well, I wouldn't just delete them. I'd like a, you know, we're sorry, but at this time we can't accept your application or something along that lines. And that'd be cool if we had like an automated response where we could click a button and say accepted and not accepted. Also, too, one of the things that I want to do with that is, like, I know if we open it up like day one when we start streaming this, I understand everybody's going to be like, oh yeah, I want to join. But I want to do it in kind of a fashion where like we have a job opening. So like as of right now, like if you look at the farm, there's barely enough for me to do. Barely enough for me and you to do, right? So, okay. Ring, ring, hello? Anyway, I'll finish that thought when he comes back. Alright. Let's see. Let's not make everybody dizzy. GPS. On. Load track. I'm gonna flip. Oh. Why do you... Here. I don't get why it does that. On that auto width. Escape. Roll the tractor. There's the damn GPS lines. There they are. Aha! Bounce you. Yeah, like this is one of the keys I want to get bound so that I can do the 90 degrees without getting in and out of the menu. Sometimes, man, I tell you what, hard to do that in cab. Alright, yeah. Alright. Deactivate automatic application rate. 222 kilograms per hectare. Get line. Okay. Lock on GPS. Turn on seeder. Fertilizer. Lock in the diffs. Turn on headland management. Set cruise control. Fire when ready. Alright. Hopefully I can talk and not bother him. If I do, he can mute me. So yeah, we're gonna do, planning on doing this pretty long play. My goal, like I think I said it earlier, is 50 at least 50 years. But after watching some of the videos and stuff that Dave does or has done, and some of the videos that some of the other SGA members and stuff have done on this map, some of their productions and the way this works, holy smokes, Batman! 50 years may be a short run on this. Now, do understand that when I say 50 years, we're sitting at 10-day months, which those of you who used to play in seasons, that is a 30-day season, which means that is a 180-day year for Farm Sim. So 50 years is probably going to be quite a long time. And I'm setting a pretty lofty goal for that, because there's a lot to do on this map, and it's kind of a challenge for me. I want to keep focused. I think if I set a goal like that, then it's going to keep me pretty focused. And those of you that are going to watch this or are watching this, and you'll be around for the streams that we do on Twitch. I'm going to run things a little differently on the stream. I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. A lot of you are probably used to, having things like the eject command and the engine command, the one that shuts off my engine, and a few other commands. Those will probably go away. The witty banter and the jokes and the talking about pineapple on pizza and cottage cheese and things. Ooh, getting 45% slippages. Those kinds of things, obviously, those will stay. But kicking me out of my tractor, probably not. Turning off the engine, probably not. However, I'm going to replace those with some concepts that I'm looking at, like you guys will be able to spend volts to cause a natural disaster, and we'll probably set that up. I got to figure out how to do all the stuff for it, but we'll probably set that up to where, like the natural disaster, you guys can do one of them a year. It's going to be an expensive thing to do on a volt, because when you use your volts, because you're going to be like taking a building away, and then we're going to use a construction company to come in and rebuild the building. And then I'll get an invoice for that. I've got an insurance company set up that I'm going to pay insurance to, which goes into making the economic part of the game a lot more difficult. Like, I want a lot of bills to go out so that we don't just amass, like I was saying earlier, millions of dollars, and then we can go buy whatever tractor we want. And we're going to see how that works out. And I'm going to try to take care of a lot of the invoicing and the administrative stuff that goes on in the background. I'm going to try to take care of that when I'm not live streaming. Depending on, input from the community, I may record it. I don't know, just so people can kind of see what's going on. But I don't know that I'll live stream it. And I'm sure Joe's going to help take care of a lot of it during the streams if he's where he can be there. I know sometimes work's going to get in the way for him for that. Trev will be there to help with some of that as well. So he'll be, if he's willing to, he can help put in invoices to the farm from, the veterinarian services and those other things. So other things you guys that I've got on the list right now that you guys will be able to do, like for natural disasters, not just a building getting blown away, but there would also be like a tornado rips through a field and takes out a bunch of crops. And the background of that will be somebody like Joe or Trev or me in the background, like not on stream, which I kind of don't want to do that. Like, I'd like to try to get it done during stream if we can work it. But I'll have somebody hook up a really big cultivator on a really big tractor and do a couple of passes through the middle of a field and take out the crops with the cultivator, and then we can be like, oh no, tornado went through the field, like I may not role play that, but like we're kind of doing a loose role play with some of this stuff. So the oh no will be when somebody actually spends the volts to do the natural disaster. I'm thinking about if I get enough things like natural disasters and those things thought of, how we can integrate those into the game. I might use like a spin the wheel system or something like that. I've seen Dave use a spin the wheel program on his streams before, which is kind of an interesting concept. So if I can find something like that, I may look at that. I'm also looking at, in place of the shutting off the engine in the tractor, I'm looking at allowing you guys to use your volts to purchase vehicle maintenance problems, like a starter goes out, or a tire goes flat, or something along those lines. And then that will go into, okay, the engine on the tractor isn't working and it's out in the field. We have to figure out how to go get it, which is why we have the recovery services. I think it's Recovery Services LLC company that we've set up, and they've got a bunch of tow trucks and stuff like that in them. And so we'll have to, bring a tractor or something like that out if it's in the middle of a field, because I've got the REA dirt mods on. We'll have to bring a tractor out in the field, hook up to the tractor, drag it out of the field, and then put it onto a wrecker or a tow truck or whatever, or a trailer. Figure out how to, I want to figure out how to implement that stuff so that we can haul it in and get it worked on. As far as putting the shop, let's say a workshop at the farm, because I got to remember we're working on terminology here. Joe already corrected me once. We'll put a workshop at the farm, which will be where we can change out tires on the tractors, like if we want to put duals on, put different sides on the trailers. So if we need to put the extensions on the trailers, or the log things on the trailers, those kinds of things, if we need to change those out, we can do those at the workshop on the farm. But when we have a major mechanical failure and it's part of the stream, like somebody says, I want to buy an engine failure in your tractor for whatever reason, right? A lot of that, I want to run that through the dealership. We have to take the tractor into the dealership. I understand farmers work on their own tractors, but there's just some things that you don't do. You don't accept the risk on. And I think that'd be kind of an added thing, we got a tractor down in the shop, and that might actually cause us to have to lease a tractor, right? Because we need one, and we're short one, so now we have to lease it from the shop. And have a mod on here that makes it to where we actually have to pay the maintenance on the tractors that we lease from the shop. There's a lot of things like that I want to get in on this. And I'm hoping all these mods continue to work well together, because I'm trying to simulate some realism, and there has to be some understanding. Sometimes there's going to be times where I pop out of the cab to look at things. Part of it's because the mirrors in this game, without a mod, there is an adjustable mirrors mod, but I've had problems with it in the past. It's caused me some issues, so I'm kind of leery about using adjustable mirrors. And then on top of it, the graphics engine and the resolution that I'm running, sometimes the mirrors, they flicker so bad you can't use them, and it's I understand things like that, and I'm really not dogging on those, but it makes it difficult to use that for a realism type of thing, right? So sorry, I got a text message. So anyway, so I may pop out if we're backing up, and I do have my head tracking on, and I've been working with it a lot, so I can get used to using it, so it's relatively smooth. It's not quite as jittery. In fact, I've also worked on setting it up, because with head tracking you can kind of lean around the tractor. You can raise your head up, you can put your head down, you can do those kind of things. So if you're using a front end loader, you can kind of move around and look. But there's going to be some restrictions, I shouldn't be all the way down here, because that's not realistic, right? My head wouldn't I know my head's up my butt, but it wouldn't be down that far in the seat, you know, things like that. So I have to be kind of careful with that. So there is going to be some times where I pop out of camera, you know, and other times, like, you know, it's a beautiful game. Sometimes you just want to see what we're doing, you know, and I like to look at it too. So sometimes I'm going to pop out, and that's going to be the game aspect of things. There's going to be other things like I'm still toying with the idea of auto load, because just the way the physics on pallets and logs and bales work in farm sim, it's always been a little bit janky, right? I mean, they're doing what they can do within the physics models of the games. I get that. So auto load makes it to where, you know, you don't have bales sticking all over the place, and some of that's practice, but other parts of it is, you know, you're driving down the road, you hit a bump, and the bales all shift over on your trailer. That may not be your fault. That may be just the game engine and the way the game engine is. So I'm still looking at that. But if we do use auto load, I want to use like a forklift or a front end loader or a skid steer or something to take the pallet to the trailer to load it, and then we'll just let the auto load on the trailer slurp it off of the forks and onto the trailer, so we don't have to worry about the stacking. So I'm still toying with that. It may or may not stay. I don't know. It depends on how I feel about it. Once we get done, and that's kind of what this playthrough testing period is for. Like right now, I'm testing the time scale, which is turned off because I forgot to turn it back up. I'm testing the time scale because I'm looking at running at a 3 times time scale. That way we actually can see the progression of day-night cycles during the streams and during the videos. We can get to points where we have to sleep, because I would like, if we're going to have to sleep, like one of my rules I've got written down right now in my brainstorming documents, is nobody can work after 1 a.m. because really, you in real life you got to sleep at some time, right? So let's just make it a rule: nobody works after 1 a.m. And when we get ready to sleep through the night, like, everybody needs to get in their pickups and they need to drive back to a house. I don't care which house it is. Like, I'm haven't really said anything to Joe about it yet, but if he hears me, he hears me, and it's fine. I was toying with the idea of having multiple houses throughout the map that people live in, and that's where they park their pickup at night. You know, they might have a dog outside, like those kinds of things, just for the realism, right? And that's more of if they want to indulge in that much realism, like him and Trev and anybody else that we get to with that stage. But I was looking at that. So, like, people have to drive home to sleep at night and, you know, leave the farm machinery on the side of the field. Try not to leave fertilizer out in a fertilizer spreader with no cover on it when it's supposed to rain. Speaking of rain, that's one of the other things I've said something to Joe. We're gonna wait, like, if we're doing any kind of field work and it starts to rain. I understand that the game itself stops you from harvesting and that's it. But, like, I want to stop all field work, because if it's raining, you tear up your fields, your fertilizer, solid fertilizer, is going to clump. You know, your equipment like cultivators and plows aren't going to do very well in the mud. You know, they're going to collect mud on them and it's going to mess them up. So I want to leave a time period to where we don't do field work for a period after it rains, right? And I'm still toying with that to see how it works, because I'm thinking, you know, 3 or 4 hours after it stops raining, and you know, you can look at that and you can say, well, that's not enough time. In real life, 3 hours of drying is not enough after it rains. Well, I get that, but you got to remember we're on a truncated time scale, you know, a 10-day month versus a 30-day month. So if we wait an entire day, that's 3 days dry time, right? Same thing with when we mow grass and we turn it into hay. Obviously, because of the game mechanics, we're going to have to run a tedder over it or use a hay dryer factory / machine, one or the other. And I would rather use the tedder to turn it into hay. But what I want to do is mow it and then leave it on the ground for a few days and do the thing where we hope for no rain. And if it rains, we have to dry it longer, that type of stuff before we bale it or pick it up. Like, I'm looking at things like that, and that's part of what we're going to work out with some of these play testing things. And welcome back. Not much. I was just rambling about some of the brainstorming and rules and gameplay type things while you were on your phone call. And now I can't remember what I was talking about with the farmhands. That's true. Yeah. Girlfriend won't be happy about that one. Well, I can at least say that, though. So, like, oh, that's where I was going with it, I think. So, like, right now, you and I don't have, like I was saying, there's not enough really for us to do. Like, there's barely enough for me to do, let alone barely enough for me and you to do on the farm, which we're going to have to figure that out somehow. Like, I may have to take out, do my cheating thing at the beginning, the start of it, to take out a couple of loans, to at least get us started, figure out how I want to work that. But for the application process, like, I'll have the application available. So during the stream, people can say, hey, I'd like to play. Okay, great. You can fill out an application. And if your application gets accepted on a first come, first served basis, what I want to do is say, okay, as of now, I have a farmhand job opening available. And so the first person on the list that has an application in, or that puts one in, if there's not already one in at that point, then they would be the one that gets that farmhand position, right? And then if that person's only available during like one stream a week, okay, then that opens it up where we probably need a second farmhand, right? And then we can kind of talk about like, oh, it's your day off, so like go spend some time with your family and quote unquote, that kind of stuff. So that way we can make it fair about who gets to play on the server and those types of things. To answer some of the questions, because I want to make sure this is a point. I'm gonna put this out in the Discord announcement when I kind of announced the plan, which I'm planning on doing in the next few days, maybe week, about the plan. Part of it, again, some of it's still up in the air with buying the house, but the only farms that'll be on the map will be the farm that we currently are in, which right now is named D&J Industries PLLC. I think I put too many L's when I said that. Which is a limited liability partnership, basically. And it'll be me, Trev, and Joe that are the three partners, so we'll be the three farm managers. The other farms that will be existing on the server will be for our other companies or businesses that aren't us, that perform services for us, like the veterinary services, the co-op, the construction company, like those types of things. Those will be companies that do services for us. Now, obviously, one or two or some of us, however that's going to work, me, Joe, Trev, the three of us, we will have to hop around in those farms to take care of some of the things that have to be taken care of. Like, if I need an invoice, like I need an invoice right now from the co-op for the amount of fertilizer that I'm using to do this contract, right? So somebody has to hop over into the co-op to create that invoice, right? So one of the three of us will do that. But anybody else that's going to be playing on the server is going to be a farmhand. And quite honestly, most people are going to have pretty limited rights. Like, you are not going to be able to buy equipment. You're not going to be able to buy land. You're not going to be able to do those things. And at some point, depending on how many people get involved in this and how big this gets, because it could end up just being the three of us for the rest of the time. Like everybody else is like, I ain't doing that shit. So I mean, I understand that, but if I get 10 people that want to play this and that want to be involved in playing this map this way, at some point I may have to look at putting in like a mid-level supervisor. Like, here, you need to manage the logging industry or something, so that may happen, and in that case, those people might get rights to do some stuff. But we'll see what happens. But as of right now, I'm not expecting to give any more rights than absolutely necessary for people to be able to do what they need to do. Trying to think if there's anything else that's going on with that. I think that was pretty much my spiel on that. Part of that was information for you, Joe, but I also made it informational for anybody that chooses to watch this. Right now, it's D&J Industries PLLC. And I'm thinking about changing it since Trev said he's interested in playing. I'm thinking about changing it to DJ&T Industries. I'm assuming you're asking because you're doing something with the form. Oh. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and change that. Since he said he's in, let's go edit farm. Capital J, and T Industries. Okay. Confirm. They have a mod out there that enables us to have more farms. So I think we got one slot left. So we may have to add that at some point if I keep coming up with ideas for shit. I don't want to get too crazy with it though. Get it too complicated and it's going to become a pain in the ass. Let's see, what else we got? I'm going to look at my documents I've been working on. So I talked about the natural disasters. I talked about the equipment failures. Oh, the other one on there, the animal sickness or loss. That's why we've got a veterinarian company. Is because I want to set it up so that people can spend volts to cause like an animal death or an animal sickness. And again, like the other things, I'm going to restrict how often that can happen. Like I said something earlier, Joe, just so you're aware. For like the natural disasters, like a tornado, like I'm gonna recap this. So if you're watching the video on YouTube, I apologize, but my idea for like a tornado going through a field is when somebody spends volts and they buy that event. I'm only going to allow like a natural disaster like once a year, right? And then like once a game year, so from January to January. But like if somebody buys the natural disaster, I'm looking at using that application. I think I've seen Dave use it. Like they have it's kind of like a spin the wheel type application, and then it randomly picks something for you. I think it's how he chooses winners for some of his streams. So I'll do that, but it'll be like tornado destroys field, tornado takes out building, blah, 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 you know, hail does this or hail does that. But like if it's tornado takes out some of your crops in your field, I'm going to have you or Trev jump in another farm with a big ass tractor and a big ass cultivator and cut a swath through the field. And may even throw some stuff in there like, you know, it was an F1 tornado, so you get one swath, or it was an F4, so you get like 3 swaths, you know, that type of stuff, to kind of offset those disasters. But the veterinarian one, same thing. Like I'll limit that to 1 thing per every 3 game months or something. I'm just throwing out numbers right now. All this stuff is subject to change as of right now. But like then we spin the wheel and we find out like cow dies, you know, or sheep gets sick, right? And then I end up with a vet bill from it or something along those lines. And then like if it's an animal dies, basically what we'll do is we'll sell the animal, and when we get the money from that, that'll basically be the insurance payment that we got to replace that animal. That'll just make life easier, right? And we don't have to do invoices for any of that. It just makes it simple, right? I will be down an animal. And that, like, with the enhanced animal system, that's not going to be a big deal because, you know, enhanced animal system, you already have the ability to lose animals because of stillbirth or because they get old and they just die. So that part's still built in. And then it also, enhanced animal system also makes it so like a pig can have like, I think it's up to like 16 piglets or 14 piglets or something like that. Chickens lay like can lay up to like a dozen eggs. And if you're getting chickens from the eggs instead of selling the eggs, like you can get a crap ton of chickens like overnight if you're not careful. So some of that's going to have to be played with. You know, like I want to figure out how that's going to work in. So at some point, once I figure out if the finance system's working the way I want to, which so far it looks like it's doing pretty good because I've done 5 or 6 contracts. I've had to buy a couple of pieces of equipment. I bought some open air gardens and did a couple other things, and literally we've not gotten over $100,000 in the bank. Like right now we're sitting at $30,000, and that was a struggle to get to. While we're on that, I'll go ahead and show everybody. I don't even know if Joe's seen this yet. This is the new loan system that this is a mod. The current loan interest rate, this actually, if you change the settings in your game settings, this can fluctuate from month to month. So the interest rate can go up and go down. But what you do is you go down here, and I know you guys can't see the button right now, but you can hit the take loan button. And when you hit the take loan button, it tells you how much money you're allowed to borrow, which right now we have no assets, so we're not allowed to borrow any money. And then you can put in a period of years for how long you want to take that loan out. And then as you can see here, it tells you, it locks in your interest rate, tells you what the total loan amount was, how many months you did the loan for, what that makes your monthly payment, and then as you make payments every month, it tacks it off down here, and then you got a remaining amount. And then there's another button down here you can push, which is a special redemption, where it's like if I wanted to put $10,000 on this loan because I finished a contract, I can do that, right? And it'll pay down that loan. And that's kind of, I really, really like the way they implemented that mod. I was hoping something like that would come along, and by magic and happenstance, I found it, and I was like, oh wow, like somebody actually finally built that. So that's going to help a lot with the finances. But right now, you know, I'm making that loan that I've got in there, the $400 and whatever $1,000. That was the initial loan that I put in to buy the house and the land that Joe and I are currently using right now as our farm. That's our house, right? So we're basically making a house payment on that stuff. And the loan system has been working great. It's taken out that I think it was, what was it, $1,500 or $1,900 a month. It's taken that out the first of the month every month. I've seen it come out. So we're making those loan payments. I may, like, if we actually do a kind of a hard reset on this, which is tentatively my plan, we will. I'll probably set up a loan for like the home and land, like I have right now, and then we'll have a loan for our pickup and our trailer that we're going to start with, and then I'll probably like I started out this playthrough. I just picked a number out of the air and I threw $5,500 is what we had in the account that I started with, right? So I'll probably pick an arbitrary number, like something like that, so that we've got a little bit of a base in case we need to buy fertilizer or seed or something like that. I don't want to have to borrow money to do absolutely everything. I want to have a little bit of cash, and then also on top of it, like if we're trying to quote start a business with this, when you get a business loan, a lot of times you get a business loan to just buy stuff that you need. Like it's not for something specific, like a truck and a trailer or a house and some land. It's not specific for those things. So, and what I did to kind of get that loan, I said something earlier, I cheated it in. What I did is I just used the Easy Dev tools and I set the biggest field or plot of land on this map as ours, which gave us a crap ton of equity. So then I took the loan out and then I used Easy Dev tools to get rid of the land. And I think it's down here, I think it's field 9. That's worth about $22 million right now. Now, keep in mind, those of you that have played this map quite a bit, I also have the mod on here that makes field prices and land prices fluctuate. So I think by default it's like 18 or 19 million for that plot of land. And then while I'm on this subject, I'll go ahead and talk about this too. I have field lease mod, so we can actually lease, because in real life sometimes you lease stuff from other people, and that'll probably go into the asset calculation. Like that's not actually my land, I can't sell it, so that's not an asset I can borrow against. Those types of things, So pretty excited about this. I put some thought into it. Sorry, I was sending a text message. But yeah, so I got a lot of stuff planned for how I want to do this. And thanks to the wonderful modding community, we have the ability to do all this. So I'm going to take advantage of it. Like, as you guys noticed, we trucked I trucked the fertilizer out here from the co-op. Eventually, we'll have our own seed and fertilizer tender on the farm. One of the things I want to look at getting fairly soon is a tank that we can use so that if we need to use like slurry or digestate on a field for fertilization, we can haul that out to the edge of the field. Because that's one of the other things too, and I'm glad Joe's here to listen to me say that. When I look at the contracts, now I'm not going to necessarily just say this is a hard set rule for everybody that's going to play, Like Joe and Trev may look at me like I'm nutso, which I think they already are. But this is the way I'm going to work it, at least for streams and videos. But like this contract right here, this is a Field 50 fertilization contract. And if you borrow the equipment, this is the equipment you get for it. Well, some of the contracts that pop up, the equipment that you borrow is like a slurry spreader. Well, if we go off what I was saying earlier, this is equipment that's provided by the farmer. If the farmer provides a slurry spreader, I need to have the ability to get the slurry to the side of the field to put it in the tanker to spread it on the field. So, and I'm kind of hand waving this. I'm looking at this like part of getting paid the contract is transporting the goods to the edge of the field, right? So like right now the co-op is quote unquote delivering the fertilizer for this. So not only are they going to charge me the fertilizer, but that I need to get charged a delivery fee for it, right? Because I could have hauled it out here myself. I don't have the equipment to use a seed tender or a fertilizer tender to do it. So I can either choose to forklift it with bags and pay for it by the bag, which is a little more expensive than buying it bulk. But at the same time, it also costs a shitload of money to buy a semi and a trailer, right? And we do have the seed tenders that go on the back of pickups. So we may be using that some because those are a little cheaper to buy, a little easier to get into that equipment. I think I'm gonna run out of fertilizer before I get to the end of this. But I've always really wanted to like do this in a multiplayer stream, set it all up like this, and try to get some people kind of excited about playing in this play style. And so yeah, I told Joe, I was like, I want to do this, and if you don't want this on the server that we normally run on, I'll put it on a different server. I don't care, but I want to try it. I want to see how this goes, and I want to give it the good old college try, as it's put, you know, like actually put some effort into it. Uh-huh. Do 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 do. Yeah, and I'm actually quite happy with the 3x time scale. I'm really liking that because it's 2 in the afternoon, and that's about right for, you know, like there was a couple of times where I forgot to start the time up again, but it's working out at about the right time for how long it should take me to fertilize this field. So yeah, Joe knows this, but tabbing and teleporting are disabled. You have to be able to use easy dev tools to teleport. So Again, that's going to be used for either administrative type things, um, like Joe needs to build something in an area, so he teleports over there. Um, a lot of it's going to be behind the scenes. For me, for my play, because of the streaming and the recording and everything else, I'm going to try to stick to. I'm I'm going to be allowed one teleport when I first log in, and that's going to be one of those scenarios where it's like, okay, I'm in the, I'm doing a Twitch stream, and I'm in the middle of fertilizing this field, and it's like it's 11 o'clock at night or something like that. I need to shut the stream down because I got to go to work in the morning. And if I took the time to set everything back to where it should be to shut down for the night, it would take me another half an hour. And I don't want to do that way. Like, I don't want to stay till 11:30 to do that. What I'll do is I'll just park the stuff on the side of the field. The next time I log in to play, I'm allowed one teleport to boop over there, to kind of reset myself back to ground zero where I was at when I left off. And then from there on out, I need to be driving everywhere else. Now, of course, if I have to do something administrative, like, in this case, Joe's working on other stuff. He's not even on the server. And I need the seed tender from the co-op. Well, I've got the option of, I can either drive my pickup all the way over there and get the seed tender, right? Which we could either look at that point, I'm also renting the truck from the co-op. Or B, I can teleport over there and, quote unquote, become the co-op employee that brings the truck out, right? So we'll have to figure that. I think that one's probably going to be more likely, the way that works. So, like, if, we need to do a vehicle recovery because something got stuck, like, we'll teleport over to the barn where all the recovery vehicles are and, quote unquote, become an employee of the recovery services. I don't know why I'm still driving slow, because I'm out of fertilizer. Wasn't paying enough attention. I have no idea. I have no idea when I ran out of fertilizer. I was running my cake hole. No, the one left of me is fertilized. I may not have made it all the way to the end of that one, but no, I was running my cake hole and wasn't paying attention. Imagine that. So I think, and I've seen Dave do this before, I think in the winter, these bushes disappear, like they're dying off. And then as you get into spring and summer, the bushes start to come back. I think. Of course, it could be just that I messed stuff up when I fast forwarded it, because I fast forwarded it way too fast. See, like this right here, obviously, I want to make sure. Sometimes my button box doesn't push the buttons very well. I need to make sure the pipe comes out. I need to make sure I got room, like that's awfully close to the truck, so I can pull that up. So for like those instances, yeah, I can use the out of cab camera to do that, make life a little easier. But for like this, over here, there we go, open the tarp. But for like this, I should be able to hopefully line that up. And then because of head tracking technology, aha! See? There we go. So those kinds of things I can do in cab, Try not to make everybody too dizzy. Oh. So So far, I'm gonna have to keep track of how much damn fertilizer I'm using. That should be 20,000 liters. Oh, I left the damn truck running. I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of that where it's like, oh crud, the truck was left running for the co-op. Need to F10 some fuel into that, or Easy Dev Tools some fuel into that. Yeah, I get talking and I forget about all the cool things that I've got on. Like, the tarp doesn't automatically go on. Ooh, don't hit the tree. I may do a little bit like, if there was an egregious, like, I just wasn't paying attention and smashed my truck into a bridge, you know, I might have Joe or somebody send me a bill for repairing my pickup. Again, part of that's going to depend on, like, if I implement too many things, obviously we're not going to make absolutely any money, which, okay, you know, most farmers would probably tell you they don't make any money. I want to make a little bit because I want to be able to buy equipment. I want to be able to do some of that stuff. So I can't overdo it, but at the same time, like, if we need to implement a couple of more things so that the economic difficulty is where I want it, then, you know, we'll implement them. But we'll see how that all pans out. We'll need to test. I know. Well, I'm pretty sure I put the mod on here that we've used before for bales that allow them to ferment into silage bales, the grass bales. I'm pretty sure that's on here. But I also want to check and see if Dave has a bale storage mod on here that allows that. However we're going to do it. Wiggly, wiggly, wiggly. Oh, I know what you're working on. Is that the new name of our company? I mean, I was like, if that's what you want to call the farm, okay. Wow, Joe. Oh, you silly thing. I was like, why am I going so fast when I'm spreading fertilizer? And it's because the fertilizer spreader shut itself off, so Headland Management thought it was still on. Durr. So how about we turn the fertilizer spreader on this time, DC? There we go, that's gooder. And of course, we're using precision farming. Stretching. So if we buy land and we get into farming, and we don't have the money to pay to get the soil samples, I guess our crops are gonna suck. May have to be one of those things where we, go to the co-op one day and somebody goes, "Hey, did you know there's this company that comes over and analyzes your soil now, and they can tell you how to better apply your stuff." That's kind of an RP component. So I'm gonna do a couple of things real quick. This may be actually, you know what? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kill the recording for a minute because I need to do a couple of things where I need to concentrate and I don't want to talk. So we'll cut the recording and then I'll splice it back in later.